Hey, it's Bob Filka here for the Friday Finish. It's the week of April 17th. Wanted to let you know this week that you've got an email in your inbox from me promoting one of our most popular programs. It's the Small Business Growth Partners uh, business coaching program that we have. All of our members are eligible to receive a free assessment of their company. This is a product that you would pay probably $4,000 or $5,000 for, to have a private consultant come in and look at your company and your operations and your personnel. Small Business Growth Partners does this for free for any HBA member. We've had hundreds of our members go through this program over the last few years. I really encourage you to take a look at my email and consider doing that for your company. It's always good to get a second set of eyes on your company. And again, no cost unless you then go on to hire them for coaching on any issues that they identify. So take a look at that program. Also, make sure you're utilizing all of our other affinity programs, things like our Meyer discount program and our Speedway gas discount program and our rebate program that returns on average about $1,500 a year to our members that are enrolled in that program. And with that, I know Dawn Crandall has a few updates from the Capitol today. Dawn.
Thanks, Bob. There was a lot of activity at the Capitol this week. It was a short week. They were not in session on Tuesday. We continue with meet and greets of the new legislators who are learning our issues slowly and getting to know you process. But we did have some updates to give you, even though we didn't see a lot of movement on the tax increment financing bills. Last week, we thought they were going to be up this week in committee. However, since session didn't meet on Tuesday, there was no Economic Development Committee. Hopefully, I keep saying hopefully, when they get done with the appropriations process, those bills should be first up in committee. They are taking a break from policy committees in the House for the next 2 weeks so they can focus on the appropriations process and getting that budget done before June 1st. But that does not mean that we still aren't actively working in the appropriations world. The Housing Michigan Coalition has 2 appropriation asks in that we are hoping to secure funding for. One is a one-time $10 million grant for local units of government who would like to redo their zoning or master plan to make their communities more housing friendly. This would be on a first come, first served basis, and it is our belief that we could have an impact in between 200 and 300 communities with that $10 million. The second is another one-time $20 million fund to pilot a 50% corporate income tax credit for employers who make qualified investments in housing for those earning up to 120% of the area median income. This would include direct investment, rent, down payment assistance, or contributions to an impact fund and other uses as approved by MISHDA. Skill to Build also has an ask in for some funding. You might recall that last year Skill to Build Michigan was fortunate enough to receive a $2 million grant to get into the hands of every 8, 9, 10, 11th, and 12th grader in the state, which is 570,000 students, a book called Build Your Future, Your Complete Guide to a Career in Skilled Trades. Those books are currently being deployed across the state, hopefully starting the conversation with students and their parents on the trades. It doesn't only focus on our industry, it focuses on manufacturing, agriculture, hospitality, and wind, solar energy. So there's a lot of opportunities for students. But we've asked for $2.7 million in this upcoming budget so that we can reach kids even younger, starting in kindergarten through 2nd grade with Billy the Build-A-Bear Builds a House, moving to 3rd to 6th with an activity book, and then hitting those 7th graders of today who will be the 8th graders of tomorrow with the Build Your Future book. We continue to keep an eye on Senate Bill 14, which would allow state regulations to be stricter than federal. We oppose that. And next week we should have an update on the status of the sales and use tax legislation, which we support, which is working its way through the Senate. And on a final note, you might recall last year, drain code legislation was introduced. We opposed that along with the realtors in the Grand Rapids Chamber. We continue to oppose it this year. However, we have had a conversation with Representative Kurt Vanderwall, who is one of the sponsors of the bipartisan package, and he is willing to sit down with us to see if we can get to a place of either neutrality or support. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and stay tuned for the Friday Finish next week.
And that's a wrap for the Friday Finish. You all have a great weekend.